Hi there, hope everything a good day. Welcome back to another video. Today we'll be breaking things down by each position. Let's talk about the best basketball shoes that you can get for your specific role on the court. If you're a point guard looking for a new shoe, what are some of the best options on the market? If you're a big, which ones should you get or avoid? When it comes to picking the ideal hoop shoe, your playing style is a pretty important factor. Some shoes are really best out for guards, while some of them you really can't say that they'll match the needs of someone who mostly plays inside the paint. So what we're gonna do is I'll list out 3 best options for each position, from 1 to 5, along with their pros and cons. Then I guess I'll force myself to pick out the best one overall out of those 3. But should be plenty of great choices out there. This year has been packed with excellent performers. Something that works for everybody, however, regardless of your position, is the right gear. And this video is brought to you by Kinetic Kings. I wear their shorts to play basketball and also go out casually all the time. Their fundamental shorts use a very breathable mesh material, meaning that they're lightweight. Durability-wise, I've been hooping in some of these pairs for well over 2 years, almost 3 years now. Every piece is holding up perfectly fine. Honestly, the biggest reason still, you're going for the design. Some of these graphics are super cool, eye-catching on the court, stylish off the court too. They have a true to size above the knee fit, by the way, and you can now head over to their site to get your own. Link and my discount code will be in the description box. It gets you 20% off right now, actually. Check them out if you need new shorts. Thank you, Kinetic Kings, for sponsoring this video. Okay, starting off at the point guard position, so many good choices out there. I think every brand has been focusing on this segment. First one that immediately comes to mind, Curry Series 7. It should be no surprise that it is designed for guards. Think about someone like Steph, who runs up and down the court a lot. This one still has that running shoe DNA in it. Unlike every other Curry shoe with the flow outsole, the Series 7 has pretty nice cushion. Finally, right? Court feel isn't sacrificed. It gives you that smooth transition, a strong grip. The shoe itself is super light, lighter than the Curry 11 and 12, obviously his older models too. Yeah, for someone who needs a responsive shoe for your change of direction, acceleration, the Curry Series 7 gets the job done. Gives you tremendous speed actually, and I think it's only ideal for guards. Option number 2, a little bit more of a universal pick. If you're a bigger and heavier point guard, let's say, I think the Luka 4 is a top tier option. Excellent traction on both the solid rubber and translucent also colorways. You get a nice and consistent grip. I feel like that's a must for the one spot. Cushion is subtle but substantial. A rectangular piece of zoom unit in the forefoot. Cushion 3.0 is pretty plush, not too stiff as the base. Perfect shoe if you play with good pace. A very fun ride, I would say. The Luka 4 is not as bulky as the 3. It lost some weight as well, just like Luka himself, but still more than enough to contain your feet properly. And to me, this is the best model of his line, by far. Then rounding off my top 3 for point guards, I have the Nike Jazz 3. You're probably gonna see it a lot on the court. A very popular choice. I can see it do well for the point guards with more athletic, explosive playing styles. Amazing traction. Zoom max on this shoe isn't as crazy as you think, but still an upgrade from the Jazz 1 and Jazz 2 for sure. Be aware of durability issues. They're not good for outdoor use, not good for wide footers. Otherwise, go ahead. I mean, these colorways are fantastic. This Halloween pair has that spooky, also Kobe Grinch vibes. They do come with the red laces in the box too. Alright, 3 excellent performers. I think the Luka 4 is a little bit tankier than the Curry Series 7. Takes much less break-in time compared to the Jazz. They also fit better than both. Works better on more types of court conditions. So that'd be my pick. At the security guard position, let me introduce you to one of the best performers, one of the best releases of the year, and that is the Adidas DON Issue 7. It has everything. Light Strike Pro here feels bouncy and comfortable. Traction is top tier. I could give it a perfect score, 10 out of 10. Doesn't really pick up dust. Very dynamic feeling on feet. Right-foot friendly as well. It's got a spacious fit, particularly around the midfoot section. Adding the zipper shroud didn't cause any pinching or affect anything. Weight is on the lighter side, believe it or not, especially for an Adidas basketball shoe. At about 120 bucks or cheaper, great product for combo guards. I think the fact that it turned out more like a hardened shoe solidified its status. Another great option for the twos, if you prioritize cushion and bounce, may I introduce you to the All Pro Nitro 2 from Puma. It's like an automatic weapon built for attack. Slim in the toe box, almost too pointy, but playing in this shoe, it almost pushes you to go faster. very easy to jump with, lighter than the DON Issue 7, not as well padded on the interior. Think about the DON Issues that we just talked about, but taking the vest off, armored off. Well, not necessarily an armor, like a jacket off. More breathable. I just gotta warn you though, when it comes to Puma hoop shoes, their translucent outsole is always the safer choice to get the best traction performance out of it. And now I'd like to round off the 3 picks with a newer release, the Rigorer AR3. This particular shooting guard himself has been absolutely on fire this season. Austin Reeves. His newest signature shoe is 100% tailored for guards. Your feet stay extremely low to the ground, while it still has some sort of bounce back and responsiveness in the heel. Traction has always been checked out on their basketball shoes. If you're going for maximum court feel, look no further. Out of these 3, best one overall goes to the DON Issue 7. It was just shockingly good. You can be a pure scorer like Donovan Mitchell, a shooter, 3-and-D type of player, a Thabo Sefolosha, Sasha Vujicic, anybody, DON Issue 7. Next, at the small forward spot, we're gonna gradually add some cushion, impact protection, and upper rigidity with some of these. Let's start with the 808.5 Ultra V2. By the way, a lot of other shoes that I didn't mention today, it's not because they aren't as good. They just might not be as specific when we divide it by position. The 808.5 is kind of like that. I can see smaller and faster guards do well in it. I can also see bigs having a great time with the wider fit, also that delicious super boom drop-in missile. However, I placed it here for 2 main reasons. One, the V2 increased the level of support you're getting from the upper. It should be more durable and less prone to folding or twisting compared to the original version. Remember we said adding some rigidity now. Yeah. 2, I completely forgot my second point again. Oh, it has the ability to hold up well for heavier players, as opposed to being a shoe only made for guards. Super Boom is lightweight, bouncy, but shock absorption is sufficient too. It's easily the best drop-in missile setup on the market. I've only heard great feedback from those I know who aren't small, let's put it that way. Not calling anybody fat here. In a similar fashion, I still have to mention the JB3. This was an older release, I know, but price has dropped in most cases. Fully armored up, bouncy and grippy. Tough, but not too hard to a point where it affects the comfort. It does resemble how Jimmy Butler plays in a sense. You're not getting anything soft or mushy, just straight action. I got the 4 coming in soon too. Stay tuned. Something that feels softer in terms of cushioning, the New Balance Fresh Foam BB V3 is also great for small forwards. Forwards in general. Actually, it can even be put into the next category for bigs. The amount of heel compression is pure deliciousness. Traction is incredibly good. That also just sucks onto the floor. Super cozy on the inside too. Nice step-in comfort. A reminder that you're getting a high off-the-ground shoe. Way different from those low-to-the-ground guard shoes with a thin midsole. What's interesting is that out of their signed athletes, it's always been Zach LaVine wearing this shoe. Maybe it proves the bounciness being there, but for an average consumer like myself, I think it's more of a forward shoe. Fits well for bigger body weight. Okay, these 3 are by far the hardest to choose from because they share the same strengths. All waifu friendly, supportive, bouncy, with some recency bias 808.5 Ultra V2. I think more people will find it to be easier to use, easier to get used to compared to the other 2. Moving on to the power forward position, KDs. This year's KD 18, some people were disappointed in that not much has changed from the previous model, the 17. To me though, it is an upgrade. Vomero 5 mesh base, that's a heavenly touch as far as the material goes. Perfect shoe for stretch forth. There is a certain level of plushness to it on feet. The more you play in it, the comfort really starts to kick in over time. It is surprisingly wide and spacious for a KD shoe, but then my feet also aren't moving around too much inside. Containment is solid. Ideal for stretch forth because support is sufficient from both the upper and the midsole. At the same time, it's not too clunky. Gives you that fluent feeling for your shooting motion. Next, I want to bring you a super underrated pick for this position. I have the 361 Zen 7. This is the budget Aaron Gordon shoe for 361 degrees. In most cases, it should be no more than 110 bucks. Again, the cheaper you can get them for, the better. Decent traction. That herringbone pattern is pretty safe. Not a whole lot of spring effect, but it's a very smooth ride. Minimum adjustment time needed. Torsional support would be the biggest weakness. You can bend the upper easily, but I'm thinking that for a lot of players at this position, you aren't necessarily shifting sideways or slide canceling that much as guards do, so it should be fine, right? Especially for a modern 4. Here we obviously can't forget about the Freak 7. Different from my previous 2 picks, this Giannis shoe doesn't really have much smoothness to it. I think it's definitely best off for the 4 and 5 position. For someone who perhaps doesn't need that much nimbleness to your movement, but rather prefer something tanky, a shoe that stays in shape nicely in the long term. This is also the key area of improvement from the Freak 6 to 7. Better containment. But yeah, no more zoom unit. They lower the retail price by about $25. A little bit slow almost, but very steady. Best scenario is if you can grab a colorway you like that's on sale for a great price, and I'm sure you will be able to. Best shoe out of these 3, I'd say KD18. At the 5, we gotta start with the pair of LeBrons, but probably not the LeBrons you were anticipating. I take the LeBron Witness 9, his budget model, over the LeBron 23 all day, every day. This year, Nike went back to the old route with the LeBrons. On the heavier side, bulky, and that means tanky enough for the big fellas out there. The Witness 9 has a spacious toe box fit, shaped like the Book 1s. Cushion is actually really impressive for its price, with full-length React X. On the previous models, Air Max cushioning is nice, but over time they tend to bottom out more quickly, especially for bigs. I don't want to get too much into why the new LeBron 23 absolutely sucks. We can save it for the video on it. But whenever I think of shoes for centers, I think about LeBrons. And these guys at $105 give or take, with all these amazing, beautiful colorways they put out, should be a nice value pick. Stable and trustworthy. Next pick, how about shoes of the best center in the league, Joker 1 GT. In the name, GT stands for guard tooling. But if Jokic can rock it on a nightly basis, I don't see much of a concern here to call these a great hoop shoe for bigs. Cushion is top of the market. So is the traction, 10 out of 10. Doesn't even pick up dust. Coming back to the cushion again, this is bouncy, comfy. You'll immediately feel that boost once you throw these on feet. I can guarantee that. Stepping on a cloud. Yes, sir. Very nice support features from the upper. Everything is secure and locked in safely. For those who watch my video on it, I'm sure you already know. Last but not least, a relatively heavy shoe. Well, very heavy actually. It's almost 500 grams for each shoe in my size. But still a performance-driven model that does well in each aspect. Air Jordan 40. Yeah, expensive, I know. Over $200 retail price. Functionality-wise, it certainly caters to a center more than a guard, in my opinion. You get full-length zoom strobo on top of full-length zoom X, a double stack midsole. Again, cushion is super important for this position, and this one is just fully loaded. Traction is excellent. It just picks up a lot of dust. The material might be hard to keep clean, but some creasing and wear and tear, that's normal if you're going to be hooping them. The most important thing is that it holds things down like a tank for those who like to dominate the paint, let's say. Here, the Joker 1 GT is the best performer overall. It's also probably the best one on this entire list across all positions this year. So that's about it for this video. 15 shoes in total divided by position. Obviously, there are many other options out there. In some cases, your foot shape, preference, budget, these other factors all come into play with your decision. As a casual player or bench warmer, sometimes I simply go for the design that is the most pleasing to my eyes. Totally valid if you're also positionless. Sometimes it's just whatever that doesn't cause a ton of soreness or foot pain for my flat feet. But please feel free to add to the list, especially for the 4s and 5s. I think we do have way more guard shoes on the market nowadays. That's just how it is. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate that. If you stay till the end, comment down the word turkey so I know who you are. See you soon on the next one.